Now on 7 News at 11, 1,400 Greenville County roads and bridges need repairs. See why some leaders say a penny sales tax would get that work started. Plus, in the criminal trial of Donald Trump, a witness for the prosecution describes the catch and kill strategy he says helped get the former president elected. And anti-war protests popping up at college campuses around the country, sparking debate and some safety concerns. Good evening. Greenville County says they're looking to put a penny sales tax on the ballot this November. That money would be used to fix the county's roads and bridges. Tonight, county leaders got to look at just how many roads need to be fixed and how much it would cost. Our Chloe Salsameda reports.
Greenville County is looking to fix about 1,400 roads with the money generated from the proposed penny sales tax. They estimate that the entire project will cost about $1 billion. When people head to the polls this November, Greenville County leaders hope a penny sales tax is on their ballots. The money generated from that tax over the next 8 years would be used to fix the county's roads and bridges. County leaders got their first look at the list of projects Tuesday night.
We're proposing to pave 1,400 roads, which is about 542 centerline miles at an estimated cost of $1.067 billion.
Those 1,400 roads and bridges are broken up into 4 tiers, with the county planning to tackle the most important projects first. Once crews finish one project, the county will move on to the next as long as the money is available.
So everything in tier 1 would be completed before you move to tier 2.
Each road will be renovated depending on what it needs. Some will be repaved or will get new traffic signals, turn lanes, or crosswalks. Others could be completely redesigned.
One project in particular that we'd like to highlight in this tier will be the Haywood Road I-385 interchange, converting it to a diverging diamond, which is a fairly new concept for our area, but this would vastly improve the traffic flow.
The county is hopeful this proposed sales tax will generate enough money to get all of these projects done.
With visitors coming to Greenville, staying in hotels, going out to restaurants, going to the BMW Zentrum and other places around the county, they're going to help us fix our roads and bridges.
But the decision will ultimately come down to voters.
If the citizens of Greenville County wants this project, it's up to them to vote yes.
In Greenville County, Chloe Salsameda, 7 News.
The county will host 4 public meetings where you can learn more about those projects. All the information you need about where and when is at WSPA.com. We're still following some news in Union County where the sheriff's office has been searching for 61-year-old Lisa Johnson. Deputies say she's in the early stages of dementia and suffers from diabetes. She was last seen Sunday night wearing a black jacket, red plaid pajama pants, and black shoes. If you see her, call 911. A toddler was hit and killed by a pickup truck in Abbeville County last night. Highway Patrol says it happened on private property near Due West. Troopers tell us the child ran across a driveway, was hit by the truck. Abbeville County coroner says the death has been ruled an accident. A 7 News alert. Take a look at some pictures Clemson police believe is the driver of a car responsible for a hit and run. This is last week, Old Greenville Highway near the Walmart. No word on the victim's condition. Now here's another picture. If you have information, call Clemson Police. So we've got the number here at the bottom of your screen. It'll be on our website too. It's 624-2009.
Well, we're continuing with nice quiet weather this evening and overnight. We've got some high clouds in the area. Lower clouds are on the way by tomorrow morning, all associated with a cold front that'll work through the Carolinas. It won't have much to work with, but it might be able to produce an isolated shower by tomorrow in the mountain locations. I think for the upstate, we'll be hard pressed to find much as far as any rain is concerned. So that means most of us will be locked into dry weather. Right now, we've got mid to upper 50s over most of the upstate. So we're cooling off, but a southwest breeze has made it a slow process. Few 40s, mainly 50s in western North Carolina. Into tomorrow morning, we start out in the 40s and 50s, so a lot milder than it was this morning. And in the afternoon, we'll top out in the 60s and 70s. Gets much warmer as we head through the weekend. We'll check out the 7-day forecast coming up.
Thank you, Chrissy. The prosecution called former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker back to the stand Tuesday for more testimony in former President Trump's hush money trial. CBS correspondent Michael George reports from New York.
Donald Trump sat just feet away as former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker testified that during the 2016 campaign, he promised to help suppress stories that could be damaging to the former president. Prosecutors allege the practice, known in the tabloid industry as catch and kill, was meant to illegally influence the election by buying the rights to those stories and never publishing them.
David Pecker is a very strong witness for the prosecution. He seems very solid on the stand. He certainly seems like he doesn't have any axe to grind with Donald Trump.
Prosecutors say the catch and kill plan was the origin of a $130,000 payment Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen made to former adult film star Stormy Daniels. They say it was to keep her quiet about an alleged sexual encounter with Trump, who denies it all.
I'm not allowed to talk, but people are allowed to talk about me. So they can talk about me, they can say whatever they want, they can lie.
In a hearing earlier Tuesday, prosecutors urged Judge Juan Merchan to hold Trump in contempt and fine him $1,000 for each of 10 social media posts they say violated an earlier gag order.
We don't have a ton of case law about social media and, frankly, fill in the blank. Privacy rights, First Amendment rights, gag orders, because that is still technology that's developing and the law's trying to keep up with that.
Judge Merchan did not immediately issue a ruling. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The former president faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records connected to the hush money payments in the final days of the 2016 campaign. Meanwhile, President Biden spoke at a reproductive rights campaign event in Tampa today. During those remarks, the president noted a 6-week abortion ban will take effect in Florida the following week, criticized former President Trump, calling him the one person responsible for overturning the right to abortion care given by Roe v. Wade.
Trump goes on to say individual state laws are working, his words, brilliantly. Brilliantly. It's a 6-week ban in Florida. It's really brilliant, isn't it? Even before women know they're pregnant. Is that brilliant?
The president went on to say voters would hold Trump accountable for overturning Roe when they head to the polls in November. Protests are growing at college campuses around the country as more and more students are speaking out about the Palestinians caught in the middle of the war between Israel and Hamas. At NYU, police in riot gear cleared out a pro-Palestinian encampment last night after students defied the university's order to leave. 120 people were arrested. Today, New York Mayor Eric Adams said students who protest peacefully are not the problem.
We can't have outside agitators come in and be destructive to our city. There was someone wanted something to happen at that protest at NYU that police officers didn't respond to.
It's the 7th straight day of protests at Columbia. Demonstrators want the school to divest from all businesses that support Israel. They're also demanding amnesty for students who have already been punished. Spartanburg residents shared concerns about a possible Duke Energy rate hike with the state's Public Service Commission tonight. Our reporter Colin Riviello was at that meeting.
Would you wish this increase on your grandparents?
From Greenville to Spartanburg and the rest of the Carolinas, people are coming out to voice their concerns about Duke Energy's proposed rate hikes.
We called Duke Energy several times to see what can we do so that our bill is not looking like it's $300.
Duke Energy wants to raise the rate customers pay by 14.6% starting in August, then raise the rate again in 2026 for a total rate increase of nearly 20%.
It's been so many times when our bill was more than our home.
The rate changes would affect residential, commercial, and industrial customers, according to Duke Energy.
Our usage was less, but our bill was higher.
The company estimates residential customers using 1,000 kilowatt hours will see an increase of about $17.83 with the first hike, and then another $10.25 increase 2 years later.
Duke should not use any money for anything that is not directly related to providing customers with cheap, reliable energy.
Not everyone qualifies for a low-income home energy assistance program, as Duke suggests that you go and do.
Duke Energy claims the increased rates will help offset the cost of infrastructure upgrades they made in the last 6 years.
We've made investments over the last few years to upgrade facilities, power plants like Oconee Nuclear Station and Bad Creek Hydro, to improve and update and put new poles and wires out there.
But for those living paycheck to paycheck,
give the working class people a break.
It remains to be seen whether the Public Service Commission of South Carolina will be swayed more by the people or Duke Energy. Duke Energy has met with residents in Greenwood, Greenville, and Seneca in the past few weeks. Their next informational meeting will be in Columbia. You can find that story on our website, WSPA.com. For now, in Spartanburg, Colin Riviello, 7 News.